I did, Lenise and Cameron. He spoke of his excitement at meeting Pope Leo XIV for the first time. He also reflected on his brief tenure so far as Archbishop here in Mobile. He'll hit
Acadian Windows traffic tip line at pound 250, keyword total traffic when prompted. Acadian Windows, your hurricane protection specialists.
Now, your chance to win $2,500. Just enter this nationwide keyword on our website. TRIP. That's TRIP. Enter it now at newsradio710.com. The Uncle Henry Show. Weekday afternoons from 5 till 7.
Uncle Henry, when you get this message, and that will be just a few minutes from now, I want you to be good as possible on the show today. I don't want you clowning and calling people out of their name and hanging up on people and getting aggressive with them today. Can you hear me, Uncle Henry? And don't do nothing that I wouldn't do. And remember, when the show is over, we're all the same. We all love each other. And do this one thing for me. Please, play.
Message deleted.
This is the Uncle Henry Show here on News Radio 710 WNTM. Thank you very much for listening to the Uncle Henry Show. I appreciate that very, very much. This show's still an important part in my financial plan. Once again, here we are together. You and me, just the two of us here, trying to figure out what is going on. What is going on? What is going on in the world around us? What is going on with people? What's gotten into people today? Examples every day of people that have lost their minds. What's gotten into people aside from the devil or in addition to? Telephone number to tell me things, 251-479-2723. That's 251-479-2723. Email address, unclehenry@iheartmedia.com. That's unclehenry@iheartmedia.com. Don't forget that tomorrow, I believe, is the primary runoff voting day in Alabama. So you've narrowed it down to a couple of options for a lot of these offices. Tomorrow, they're looking for you to go and settle things. So if you are interested, if you want to have a say, don't forget tomorrow is primary. Is it? I think it is. I think tomorrow's the day. It must be, because I'm still seeing these dadgum commercials. So don't forget that. You got voting tomorrow with the primary election voting with the people that want to be lieutenant governor or the Republican nominee for lieutenant governor in Alabama and want to represent us in the Senate, get the cushiest job in politics, all that kind of stuff. So you have that going on tomorrow. Now, also tomorrow, in Mobile, there is going to be an announcement of the name for the new hockey team. Yes, Mobile getting a hockey team again after all these years, and they're going to announce the name tomorrow. I've got a report. This was just on Fox 10 moments ago. Lenise Lagan and Cameron Taylor with their reporter Dacian Smith reporting on the announcement tomorrow on the hockey and also talking about the progress being made at the new Regions Arena. Let's listen together to this report from Fox 10 about the new hockey team announcement coming tomorrow in Mobile.
Well, Mobile is just hours away from finding out the name of its new professional hockey team.
Our Dacian Smith has your look at what's ahead, live and local. Dacian, you also have new information on the arena that's making all this possible.
That's right. There's a lot of anticipation building, and tomorrow Zoyer Sports will officially unveil that new hockey team name and logo, and that's just one of many milestones for this new Regions Arena. Construction crews have been working nonstop on the new Regions Arena. Workers completed vertical construction in March, and a facility was officially named Regions Arena in April. New signage renderings go before the Architectural Review Board Wednesday, which marks another milestone towards the January 2027 opening.
It's a $300 million investment.
Now you're hearing the voice of Danny Cordy with the Mobile Sports Authority. Danny Cordy. I met him years ago, back when I worked at WABB. He would come in the afternoon and be on the Leslie and the Hound Dog show. Yes, back in the day, we had shows. And back in the day, Leslie and the Hound Dog were a team on WABB, and Danny Cordy would come in and be on the radio with them, but he didn't talk about sports. They called him Dr. Love. And Danny Cordy would he would give love advice to the teenagers that would call into the show. So now he's the director of the Sports Authority here. I always think of him as Dr. Love. But anyway, back to Danny Cordy.
And through concerts, through Mardi Gras, I think it's going to be an important part of what we're trying to do in Mobile.
Regions Arena will also be home to Mobile's new Southern Professional Hockey League team. The Mobile Mystics played their last game in Mobile in 2002. Danny Cordy with the Mobile Sports Authority says bringing hockey back opens up new possibilities for the port city.
Hopefully we'll be able to build some youth leagues that will help support this team over the next few years, or the next several years, and it's just something different. It's kind of a dawn of a new day.
But I'm sorry to interrupt him, but he talked about youth hockey leagues. I've never watched youth hockey leagues. Do they fight like the adults do? That could really get popular. That could get if they fight like the adults do, that could be very popular.
For professional sports in Mobile.
Zoyer Sports and Entertainment owns the team. Cordy says the group has experience launching hockey teams in markets like Mobile. He hopes that experience, plus the growth of the sport in the South and a built-in rivalry with the Pensacola Ice Flyers, will help attract fans.
There'll be some community pride things going on, and you always want to beat your competitor. Hockey has grown over these last 20 years, no doubt in the South, with several Florida teams winning the Stanley Cup. So we just hope that we can build on that excitement for this game here.
Tuesday, Zoyer Sports will unveil the new name and logo for the team. Many fans are hoping the team revives the Mobile Mystics name. But either way, Cordy says once the name drops, it's full speed ahead.
You've got a name, you've got logos. All of a sudden you're going to see some of these jerseys start to show up in the stores. So that's how you build this up. And we've got 16 months before we drop the first puck.
And that name unveiling is happening tomorrow night at 6 o'clock over at the Mobile Convention Center. Live in downtown Mobile, Dacian Smith, Fox 10 News.
All right, tomorrow night at 6 o'clock, timed beautifully for the evening newscasts for Fox 10 and WKRG, and I guess NBC 15 still does a newscast. I don't know. Now that Darwin's gone, do they do anything over there? So tomorrow night we'll know. Is it Mobile Mystics or is it some other new name? All right, there's a lot more junk to get into on the Uncle Henry Show. But first, I'm going to take a time out for traffic, weather, words from our sponsors, and then more of whatever this is.
From the Spring Hill Toyota Traffic Center.
Traffic slows down near Virginia Street on I-10 eastbound, making your way into the tunnel. Also, watch for an accident south on I-65 between Celeste Road and Industrial Parkway. If you're making your way on I-110 to Pensacola Beach, it's a 14-minute drive. With Time Saver Traffic, I am Lisa Baque.
This report is sponsored by Lowe's. Shop DeWalt deals at Lowe's.
And if there's anybody watching on YouTube, hello to you if you're there. And I see, yeah, there's a small number of people looking. JD, I did not watch it. I saw about it. I don't think it was at all ridiculous. I'm glad that it was done. I didn't see it, but I'm glad it happened. Pat Nelly, hello to you. Bama Big Man. 69-year-old Chris of West Loxley. Excalibur One Force. Thank you all for looking in. Nelson Dorgang. Roll Tide to you. Sharon of Fairhope, hello to you. But I didn't see it. I did not watch. I would have watched the spectacle and probably would have tremendously enjoyed the spectacle, but you had to pay an extra fee to get some stupid streaming service. So I didn't watch it. I already pay for other television. JD, I have seen the movie Idiocracy, and we have made a lot of progress toward that. I will agree. We as a people, not just the government, we have made a lot of progress toward it. But I prefer UFC occurring at the White House than something like croquet or something pansy like that. I'm glad that it was something masculine like UFC. I would have been okay with just slap fighting, just letting people randomly show up and slap each other, which is becoming a sport. Also found it the most interesting thing to me, because I don't know anything about the UFC other than people beat each other into submission. The most interesting thing about it, if I understand correctly, the champion of the sport was not allowed to attend. It was thrown out when he snuck in. What now? Did the champion of the UFC, was he told not to come? That was weird. All right, let's see. Back on the radio here in about 45 seconds. But I'm glad that they had a patriotic spectacle that had a lot of testosterone involved in it up in there. Now let's see. Back on in about 20-something seconds with more radio.
By listening to the Brad vs. Everyone podcast on the iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts.
News? Check. Traffic and weather? Check. Opinions? Check. This is the Uncle Henry Show, only on News Radio 710 WNTM.
Uncle Henry Show in progress here on News Radio 710 WNTM. Telephone number 251-479-2723. That's 251-479-2723. Email address unclehenry@iheartmedia.com. That's unclehenry@iheartmedia.com. I've got a small number of people watching me as I do the show on YouTube. It's not really exciting video. It's just me, an older man, standing here struggling in the last 20 to 30 years of his career, just trying to get this done. But one of the people watching on YouTube asked me if I watched the UFC fight yesterday at the White House, and I did not. I wanted to watch it, but it was I would have had to pay extra money with a subscription to Paramount Plus. And I'm the streaming services, I'm sick of them. I'm tired of it. Anytime there's a new TV show and people say, "Oh, you need to see this one. This is the one you really need to see." And I'll say, "Well, where is it?" And it's on something plus extra something where you've got to sign up for this and it's this much a month. And no, I'm tired of it. Every good show, there's like maybe 3 or 4 good shows, and they're on different services, and you've got to pay for all these different things. I'm sick of it. I want to go back to watching TV using a TV antenna, and if I have to spend the rest of my life watching Petticoat Junction and Hogan's Heroes and other stuff like that, Bonanza, I'll be perfectly content. I'd be perfectly content watching Bonanza, whatever else they got on there. Mannix. Mannix was good. I watch all of that. These streaming services with all their pay. Now, I wonder if they've slipped anything like that in the Iran deal. Like if you pledge to not enrich uranium, you'll get a deal on Netflix. You know, that could be a big deal because it costs a daggone much money to get all these services. I wonder if that's in the Iran deal, some type of deal on Netflix or Paramount Plus, something like that. Again, 251-479-2723, the telephone number. That's 251-479-2723. Email address unclehenry@iheartmedia.com. Now, last night I was trying to, of course I didn't, as I mentioned, I did not spend the extra money to watch the spectacle. Well, before I get into that, I've got a living caller. And I like to talk to those that are alive and actually want to talk to me instead of the voices in my head. Hello, caller.
Hello, Uncle Henry.
Yes, sir.
It's funny you mentioned Petticoat Junction and Hogan's Heroes, because I'm sitting here watching Hogan's Heroes and listening to you two at the same time.
Wow, I'm honored.
Yeah, and Petticoat Junction, I watch it in the morning.
Yeah, that comes on at like 4 in the morning.
Well, it comes on this other show, other thing I got it on about 9 o'clock, something like that. 9 or 10 something. It probably does come on at 4 o'clock too on another channel. But anyway, when Hogan's Heroes over, MASH is coming on.
See, these are good shows.
Yeah, I like it. It's just funny.
Me too.
And anyway, I just thought I'd comment on the put my input in here.
Well, I'm glad you did. It makes it that much better when you add your input.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Thank you very much for listening. Thank you for your phone call. Yeah, Hogan's Heroes, which tells you the truth about World War II, and then MASH, that tells you the truth about the Korean War. You can learn your history from watching free television off of an antenna instead of paying for all these services. HBO, porn-type television, which is what all that HBO is an excuse to have toplessness, because people run around topless. Hello, caller.
Good evening.
Norman! Norman, you are live on the radio.
Forget it. I've listened to the show,
You know, I know that you probably heard, but you're speaking of these streaming services.
Yeah.
And did you see where Fox bought Roku?
Okay.
Are you familiar with Roku?
Well, I know some people that have it. I don't have it, but I've heard of it. Yes.
It's like these other streaming services. It's got this little box you stick to your side of your TV if you don't have one of them smart TVs.
Yeah.
And it has that kind of same stuff. But Fox apparently bought that, and so now the other folks are hollering because they say, oh, they're going to put conservative view and they're going to block stuff and they're going to have ads. But isn't that the whole point of, like, making money is to sell ad time?
Well, yeah. I mean, the way it ought to work is if we have to watch the ads, then they don't charge us for the shows, right?
Right. That's the way I understood.
Yeah, that's the way it ought to be.
It don't matter. It's got the pony-headed liberals hooting and hollering because Fox may have another outlet, you know. Anyhow, y'all have a good day.
You too. Roll Tide. Norman, thank you for that. I didn't know anything about that. I'm just fed up with it. There's too many of these dadgum services, and they're having like a historic, never to be repeated UFC event. Because if I don't know who the next president will be, I have no clue. I mean, if it's a liberal, there's no telling what kind of weird thing could happen up there. And if it's J.D. Vance, it could be like lumberjacks and stuff. I don't know what. I just know it'll be bearded. I don't know. With no idea. But I'm not. I couldn't watch this once in a lifetime UFC thing because they want me to. I have to sign up for this. Get a free trial of this. No, I don't want your dadgum free trial because once I sign up for that, it's hard to disconnect from it. Hello, caller.
Hi.
Hey, you are live on the radio.
Hey, I agree with you. These streaming services are getting ridiculous.
Thank you for agreeing with me.
Yeah, and a bunch of junk on there, too. For every one good show like Game of Thrones, you got a bunch of reality junk like My 600-Pound Mama starring Uncle Henry.
Would you sick freak? Dadgummit, if you were here, we'd reenact the UFC fight is what we'd do. That's what we'd do. If you were here, it'd be like UFC at the White House, except there wouldn't be no flyover. There wouldn't be nothing spectacular except you hitting the ground. That's all that would be. Listener, I apologize for the violent imagery. But I would love to just go up against this guy, just like when that Canadian got knocked out by the American. All right, I apologize. I'm feeling it in my heart right now. Oh my goodness gracious. I need to calm down. Back after the break. And I'll be a lot calmer.
From the Spring Hill Toyota Traffic Center.
Traffic is slowing down on eastbound Highway 98 from Government to I-10 at the Bankhead. It's a 5-minute drive. Slow on Highway 59 from I-10 to Gulf Shores, a 53-minute drive. On the Foley Beach Express from Highway 59 to Canal Road, a 19-minute drive. With Time Saver Traffic, I'm Lisa Bakke.
This report?
Her reports could be identical. Just about every day, it could be the same thing.
But One Cafes are open 7 days a week to assist.
Slowing down going into the Wallace Tunnel. Now that's slowing down into the Bankhead Tunnel.
Hush Bank, Capital
And
One.
somebody's bumped into somebody up on I-65 near Saraland.
The Acadian Windows traffic tip line at pound 250, keyword total traffic when prompted. Acadian Window.
And there's been a fender bender at a road in Florida.
Afternoon left 3 people wounded. Happened on Bank Avenue. Mobile police say 2 of the adults suffered life-threatening injuries. The Alabama Republican parties ruled the name of Tommy Tuberville can remain on the November general election ballot for governor. The decision announced Sunday at a meeting of the Alabama GOP candidate committee in Hoover. Former gubernatorial candidate Ken McFeeters lost to Tuberville in the May 19th primary, filed a challenge arguing current U.S. Senator doesn't meet required 7-year residency requirements. But GOP Chair Scott Stadhagen says an examination of Tuberville's tax returns and other legal documents dating back to 2019 proves he's a legal resident of the state and eligible to run for governor. Alabama voters head to the polls tomorrow. Primary runoffs for the Senate, Lieutenant Governor, Ag Commissioner, and Public Service Commission leading the races on the ballot. I'm Angie Norvell.
This is News Radio 710 WNTM.
Fox News, I'm John Saucier. President Trump announcing this weekend that the United States and Iran have reached a deal towards ending the war. The White House has yet to release texts of that deal. Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer says while the war is over, the American people are left with a new set of problems.
Iran has more control over the Strait of Hormuz today than before the war began. Gasoline prices are still dramatically higher than before the war and will remain so for a long time.
Officials are looking into what caused a skydiving plane to crash in Missouri on Sunday, killing 12 people on board. The NTSB Vice Chairman Michael Graham says investigators are looking to interview witnesses, gather all the information they can about this crash.
We can't speculate on what happened at this point, but we are accumulating information and we will try to verify that as soon as possible.
They are on scene investigating. Again, 12 dead in this plane crash. America's listening to Fox News.
iHeartRadio FIFA World Cup update.
It's been a day of draws so far at the World Cup. Belgium and Egypt finished 1-1 in Seattle. This comes after the shock of the tournament so far. Earlier in the afternoon in Atlanta, as one of the pre-tournament favorites, Spain was held scoreless by Cape Verde as the teams played to a draw.
A 0-0 draw with the European champion Spain.
For live Fox coverage.
Now, I don't want a sport like where you're going to have a draw. I just don't like that. I don't like it in football when it used to happen.
Oh, we have a large selection. We always get...
All right, going to be back on the radio here in about 2 minutes. Exciting World Cup where nobody scored today. I'd be very irritated if I paid to go to a Big O stadium and watch something where no points were scored. That would be very annoying. And there's no tackling. I might be okay if they still had, like, tackling or something. They would just have at it. No score. Nobody's been beat up or nothing. All right, going to be back on the radio in about a minute and a half. I do have a caller waiting, thank the Lord. That'll save the listener from me going on. I could go on about streaming services for the next 3 hours. All right, let me look. Let me see if there's something I can tell you about. Look up the weird news file and see if there's any good, non-nasty weird news. Oh. Let's see, a man was pulled over in Florida. A 33-year-old man was pulled over in Florida. He was clocked going 90 miles per hour on the interstate. Now, he was driving a Honda Civic, and police said that they counted 34 open cans of White Claw in his vehicle. So he was driving around with 34 open cans of White Claw in his Honda Civic. You know, if I were a judge, I would sentence him to having to post this on social media, put his picture. I would want him to just be identified as the White Claw guy. That would be his punishment.
7 on News Radio 710 WNTM.
Uncle Henry Show here on News Radio 710 WNTM. You can also hear me on FM radio. Monday through Friday, I play country music on 95 KSJ. Tomorrow, I'll have your chance to win tickets to Waterville, USA in Gulf Shores. Waterville, USA in Gulf Shores celebrating 40 years. This year, the 40th anniversary of Waterville, USA in Gulf Shores. 95 KSJ has been doing 40 days of Waterville giveaways. Tomorrow, right after 11 o'clock, I'll have your chance to win Waterville tickets on 95 KSJ. Telephone number here on the Uncle Henry Show on News Radio 710 WNTM. Telephone number 251-479-2723. That's 251-479-2723. Hello, caller.
Hey, Uncle Henry, how you doing?
Snake Trapper, you are live on the radio, Snake Trapper.
Uncle Henry, I wanted to give you an update on the Clark kid that got bit by that copperhead in Deer Park Wednesday night.
Please, yeah, tell. Last time I was on the air, you told me the boy was having to stay overnight in the hospital and it was looking bad. How is he doing now?
Uncle Henry, they got that fourth vial in him that Friday evening, and so by Saturday evening, they was able to let him go home, Uncle Henry. They got all the swelling under control. They don't believe he's going to lose any tissue or any cartilage or anything like that, Uncle Henry. He still has a lot of discoloration in that hand, but that'll subside over time. But, man, his daddy wanted me to thank everybody for the prayers, Uncle Henry, and let people out there in radio land know that prayer really works, Uncle Henry.
Well, I'm relieved to hear that. I felt terrible for that kid. And this is the first time I haven't heard a lot of people talk about getting bit by copperheads before, so this was kind of a new thing for me to learn about.
Well, Uncle Henry, he also told me while he was in there dealing with his son with that copperhead bite, that there was another child that was admitted in there that had been bitten in the foot by a dang cottonmouth. Now, that one, I don't know how it turned out, Uncle Henry, because, like I said, he was out of there and away from it Saturday. But, man, people need to be aware, Uncle Henry, that copperhead is a silent bite, man. You can be standing right beside one of them and never know it. Now, I did mention that, the rattlesnake gives you a warning, and the cottonmouth will give you a warning, or at least try to. But that copperhead, man, he didn't see it till as it was biting him in the hand. So, man, but everything worked out, Uncle Henry, and he's going to make a full recovery from it. But they claim that's a very painful bite too, from the hemotoxins that type of snake produces. So, man, hey, I just. Yes, sir.
I'm sorry. You haven't talked a lot about snakes yet this summer. I was just curious if you've had to round up a few. Have you been getting calls about snakes and having to go rescue people from snakes?
Oh, Henry, I have not. Hadn't had a lot of them this year. Now I've had several people, for snake identifications. One guy got a king snake out of his flower bed, but unfortunately he took a garden rake to it, and kind of hurts me to see something like that happen. But man, everybody thinks that a dead snake is a good snake, but man, they are a big part of our ecosystem. Rat snakes, king snakes are great snakes to have around. For one, they will keep your rodents, kind of at bay, and. But unfortunately, man, there are people out there that's just going to kill every snake they come across. And it's kind of sad, but, that's the way it is, Uncle Henry.
All right. Well, Snake Trapper, thank you very much for the update on that child.
Yes, sir, Uncle Henry. And thank y'all for your prayer, brother. You have a good day, my
You
buddy.
too. Thank you. There he goes, the Snake Trapper. And if you want to find out more, he is on Facebook. It's 2 words, Snake and then Trapper on Facebook. 251-479-2723, the telephone number. That's 251-479-2723. Email address, Uncle Henry at iHeartMedia.com. Let's see, I got some voicemail over the weekend, and I do want to check some of the voicemails that came in. I've got some of them stacked up here. Here's a Saturday voicemail.
Roll Tide, Uncle, Saturday afternoon. Good Saturday afternoon to you, 1:21 p.m. from the front porch with a glass of tea. Uncle Henry listening to podcast, and I just heard Mary Booth, doing a commercial spot, and she used a term that I don't recollect hearing before. Rumble strips. She was talking about something about when your car crosses over rumble strips. Is she talking about speed bumps or speed breakers? Is that the same thing? Is that what they call them now? Rumble strips? I don't recollect hearing that term before. How about a little help there, mister? Appreciate it. Have a good one.
69-year-old Chris, thank you for your voicemail. The voicemail number 251-216-1976. That's 251-216-1976 to leave a message for the Uncle Henry Show. I'm not an expert on traffic calming devices because I hate them. I really do, because why would you build a road and then put something in it? Why would you do that? If you don't want cars to drive down a road, why did you build the dadgum road to begin with? But anyway, you asked about rumble strips. I think, not for sure, not an expert, but if you're driving on a highway and if your car were to go out of your lane like you're going off the road, and all of a sudden you'd hear your tires hitting something. I think that's what rumble strips are. I think they're on the side of roads, but I'm not sure. But I think it's that the way they have the strips on the side of the road that alert you, that let you know, hey, you better start driving right, or you're going off the road. Now, shortly thereafter, about 30 minutes later, I got a follow-up voicemail.
Real tight, Uncle, as I mentioned in a previous call, sitting out here on the front porch listening to podcast, I've gone back and was listening to the one was about the road rage and a few other things, and got to listening to Buford's call about his son and the cougars, as he described them, being attached to him or liking him.
Yeah, long-time caller Buford, if you missed that Uncle Henry show, he let us know that he's got a son that has become a very good electric guitar player, and Buford claims that middle-aged women, are fawning over his son, and it's really bothering him that his son has all these middle-aged women fawning over his son.
Liking him, however you want to describe it. Piece of advice, Buford. Don't ever let him watch The Graduate. You remember that one with Dustin Hoffman and Anne Bancroft? Never let him watch The Graduate. You might lose him forever then. To the Cougars, that is. Okay, just a little advice I wanted to share with you. Carry on.
69-year-old Chris, thank you for that. I hadn't thought of that movie probably since the 1970s. The Graduate, Dustin Hoffman. Who else was in that? Was Art Garfunkel in that? I know that they had the music from Simon and Garfunkel in there, I think. I don't think I've watched the entire movie because of the reason you're talking about. It's just it is an inappropriate, just a terribly inappropriate film to begin with. The Graduate. Dustin Hoffman and Anne Bancroft. I wonder if they were ashamed of that. Doing that movie. Nasty movie. All right, there's more. I do have more Uncle Henry Show to come after the break.
Stalled vehicle was cleared west on I-10 at McDonald Road. If you're traveling on Highway 98 from Daphne to I-10, it's an 8-minute drive. Seeing some slowing at Foley Beach Express. From Highway 59 to Canal Road, it's a 20-minute drive. And on Highway 31 from Spanish Fort to Highway 59, a 17-minute drive. With Time Saver Traffic, I am Lisa Baque.
This report is sponsored by Lowe's.
YouTube viewers, if you're still there, thank you for looking. I'm going to reactivate the YouTube on the desktop. Let's see what is going on. And I see a small number of people watching, yes. KP of shirtbutter.com. Bama big man Art Garfunkel might have been in the movie too. Let me look. You know, I don't think I watched the movie, but I think I read the Mad Magazine parody of it. So I knew the plot without having to spend the money on the movie. Let's see. But no, he was not in the movie. Why do I remember Dustin Hoffman with someone that looks like Garfunkel? All right, let's see. What else? What can I tell you about? I'll tell you this. I've never received more email from a political campaign than I have received from the Hudson, Jared Hudson running for U.S. Senate. I have gotten so many emails from that campaign. Now, they've never asked to be on the show. They don't want to come on, but they sure want me to know what they're up to. There's just constant email. I bring it up because I just got one at 5:46. In fact, I don't know if I deleted all of them. Let me see. Let me look at my deleted emails. Yeah, there they are. He's been all over the state, but not around these parts lately. All right. Oh, going to be back on the radio. I forgot about that.
Radio station.
Apparently, we're going to have some rain.
Dangerous social media trends, media scandals, dumb TikTok boycotts, and more. Keep up with all the online stories mainstream media ignores by listening to the Brad vs. Everyone podcast on the iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts.
Available everywhere with the iHeartRadio app. Now #1 for podcasting. This is News Radio 710, WNTM, an iHeartRadio station.
Uncle Henry Show here on News Radio 710 WNTM. We have news headlines coming up in 10 minutes and then more. Uncle Henry Show. Now, in the last segment of the show, we had 69-year-old Chris of West Loxley calling in with some advice for Buford. Buford had called and said that his son is really good with the electric guitar, and Buford is worried because there's a bunch of middle-aged women that have expressed great interest and are fawning over his son, and he's very upset about this. And it's understandable that he would be upset by this. Now, Navco Bill has phoned in about Buford's son playing electric guitar.
Henry, this here is Navco Bill with a request that you pass along to Buford to listen or review a song by Bad Company called Shooting Star. Not only is a wonderful rock and roll song, but is a cautionary tale to any young man who might be his son and be a guitar hero. Henry, this here is Navco Bill. Out.
All right, so the advice is that the song Shooting Star, there's a long list of terrible Bad Company songs, just awful. And that's one of them. And I'm not familiar with the lyrics because I've already got enough problems in my life without learning Bad Company lyrics. I don't need that stuff bouncing around in my head. In addition to all the other garbage that's up there. But there must be something about the middle-aged women going after the guitar heroes in the Shooting Star song. So Buford, of course, I would not expose my son to Bad Company, but if you could look up the lyrics to the Bad Company Shooting Star, maybe you can learn something valuable about how your son can traverse this very dangerous path that he's on with the loud rock and roll guitar, because it'll be a very difficult path for him. There'll be a lot of a lot of temptations thrown his way by the devil. 251-479-2723, the telephone number. That's 251-479-2723. Let's say I've got there's a quick, this is a voicemail, I guess, that would be of interest to men of a certain age.
I'm getting older. So I went to the doc yesterday for my annual checkup. And I said, test me on all the things and throw in the T level too, because I'm getting tired a lot, grouchy, irritable. Just feel like I'm getting older. So go ahead and test the T level. I'm happy to report my T level is above normal and just fine. The doc replied in a message in the new internet portal, this newfangled technology that they use to communicate with their patients. He said, your T level's fine. It's above where the minimum level is. You're doing just fine. So I got other reasons to be tired, but it's not my T level. T level's fine, activated and ready to go. Roll Tide.
Hey, Roll Tide, and congratulations to you on getting a good report on your T level. In fact, I'm proud. I really am. I'm proud that the Uncle Henry Show can provide a safe space for men of a certain age to announce that they've got a good T level. Because this is something that when men find out they've got a good T level, they want people to know. But it's hard to bring up in conversation. It's hard. I mean, there's just not just kind of difficult to figure out a way to get it out there in conversation. So I'm proud. And the reason I'm proud that I'm providing that venue for men of a certain age is because a couple of years ago, same thing happened to me. I went to the doctor And they were checking all different kind of things, trying to find out what on earth is wrong with this guy. And they said, well, your T level is very high. We couldn't do anything to improve your T level. And I was so proud because of my age. I thought, I'm so proud I've got the T. And I couldn't figure out, there was no way to tell anybody. There was no show for me to call and talk about my T level. And I didn't want to bring it up myself. But thank you for that call that you made, which gave me an opportunity to bring up my T level. Listener, if you'd like to tell us about your T level, 251-216-1976. You can just leave an anonymous, hey, I got the high T. 251-216-1976 is the voicemail number. 251-216-1976. That is for men of a certain age that would like to let everyone know that they still have the T. All right, now coming up, there's more Uncle Henry Show after the Fox News. I'm going to interview two Hollywood guys. They have a podcast about whether or not the government is using movies to disclose UFO information. That's coming up after the break.
I'm Chad Pergram with the Speaker's Lobby. Words taken down. It's a phrase which usually signals there's a ruckus in the House of Representatives. The House witnessed one such melee.
YouTube viewers, thank you for watching. I'll be here tomorrow at the regular time. I'm turning the camera off now. There's more show on the radio, and I will be back tomorrow at the regular time. And I'm sure I'll have coverage of the city council meeting for you, as painful as it is for me to watch it. Have a pleasant evening and a pleasant tomorrow.
Tlaib erupted at that, shouting even more loudly at Miller. Tlaib demanded that Miller's words be taken down. That calls for an instant review as to whether or not Miller broke House rules by impugning the motives or character of a fellow lawmaker. The House ruled that Miller indeed crossed the line, and he wouldn't apologize. So the House struck the offending words from the congressional record and prohibited Miller from speaking on the House floor for the rest of the day. With the Speaker's Lobby, Chad Pergram, Fox News.
There's a new and exciting way to start your journey toward a more joyful existence. Listen to Joy 101 with Hoda Kotb on the iHeartRadio app or wherever you get your podcasts.
Man, I love this place. I've been surfing here since I was a kid. Now, seeing my grandson out